the only gem that is truly perfect at the moment it is found, no cutting or polishing needed. For centuries, these were considered the most precious of jewels, more precious than sapphires, rubies, emeralds, and even diamonds, the most prized gem in the world. On the northwest coast of Australia, between Broome and Darwin, is the home of the South Sea pearl oyster, also known as the silver lip oyster. This piece of coastline remains as untouched as it has for centuries and is teeming with life. The South Sea pearl oyster has the ability to produce one of the most sought after and most expensive gems in the world. The South Sea oyster can live for up to 40 years and can grow up to a foot in size. This oyster produces the best of the best pearls in the entire world. It is extremely rare for a pearl to have a perfect complexion, and it is these rare finds that are much sought after and therefore have made pearls such coveted and valuable items. Nobody knows when the first pearl was discovered, but it is thought that it is probably around the time humans started to eat oysters. Now, a purely natural pearl is a rare find, and it is considered to be extremely precious and often more valuable than diamonds themselves. The probability of finding one naturally created perfect saleable pearl is around 1 in 15,000 oysters. Cleopatra is famed for proving her power and wealth to Mark Antony by dissolving one of her pearl earrings in vinegar and drinking it. That sounds gross, right? Well, pearls are made of calcium carbonate and conchiolin. The calcium carbonate would neutralise the acidic vinegar, so it was quite feasible to drink. It is said that when she went to dissolve her second earring, Mark Antony stopped her as she had proved her worth and was therefore considered to have proved her riches. Each pearl in today's money is worth around £20 million. Antony and Cleopatra are among history's most famous lovers. Mark Antony, or Marcus Antonius, 14th of January 83 BC to the 1st of August 30 BC, was a Roman politician and general who played a critical role in the transformation of the Roman Republic from the constitutional republic into an autocratic Roman Empire. Antony and Cleopatra flaunted their love affair while challenging the power of Rome. This love story has a tragic ending when Antony hears rumour that Cleopatra is dead, having committed suicide. He fell on his sword and died just as he heard that it had been a false rumour. On August the 12th, 30 BC, after burying Antony, Cleopatra shut herself in her chamber with 2 of her female servants and ended her life. In accordance with her wishes, her body was buried alongside Antony's. Pearls were very popular and worn by kings and queens and famous people alike, such as Mary Tudor, and Queen Henrietta Maria, Elizabeth I, and more modern day, Elizabeth Taylor. But there is one pearl in particular that links them all. Probably the most famous pearl in the world. La Peregrina. The original weight of this pear-shaped pearl was 223.8 grains, which is 55.95 carat or 11.2 grams. At the time of its discovery, it was the largest pearl ever found. In 1913, the pearl had to be drilled and cleaned to secure it firmly into its setting. After drilling and cleaning, the pearl's weight decreased to 203.84 grains. La Peregrina remains one of the largest perfectly symmetrical pear-shaped pearls in the world. The first reference to this pearl can be found in Comentarios Reales de los Incas, by historian Garcilaso de la Vega, 1539 to 1616. He tells of an exceptional pear-shaped pearl, which was brought back to Spain from Panama, where it was found by an African slave in the Pearl Islands in 1579, where it was sold to King Philip II of Spain. It was meant as a gift for his daughter on the occasion of her marriage, but the king found it so beautiful that he kept it for himself. Later, in his testament, he elevated it to the rank of Spanish crown jewel, and from then on, the pearl is recorded in every royal inventory for more than 200 years. It became one of the favourite ornaments for the Spanish queens at the time. Margaret of Austria also wore the pearl for the celebration of the peace treaty between Spain and England in 1605. Portraits made by Diego Velázquez are evidence that the pearl was prized by both Elizabeth of France and Mariana of Austria. The equestrian portrait of Queen Elizabeth shows her wearing the pearl. Queen Mariana, her successor, was painted with the pearl as well. In 1808, the elder brother of Napoleon, Joseph Bonaparte, was installed as King of Spain. His rule continued for 5 years, and when he was forced to leave the kingdom after the defeat of the French forces at the Battle of Victoria, he took some of the crown jewels with him, including La Peregrina. At that time, the pearl got its name, La Peregrina, the Wanderer. In his will, Joseph Bonaparte left the pearl to his nephew, the future Napoleon III of France. During his exile in England, the Emperor sold it to James Hamilton, Marquis and later Duke of Abercorn. Abercorn bought the pearl for his wife Louisa. The pearl was very heavy and it fell out of its necklace setting on at least 2 occasions. The first time, the pearl got lost in the sofa at Windsor Castle. The second time, during a ball at Buckingham Palace. On both occasions, the pearl was recovered. The Hamilton family owned the pearl until 1969, when they sold it at auction at Sotheby's in London. Richard Burton purchased the pearl at Sotheby's auction for $37,000. He gave it to his wife Elizabeth Taylor as a Valentine's Day gift during their first marriage. Burton saw a portrait of Mary I of England wearing the pearl, in the mistaken belief that the pearl had once belonged to her, even though La Peregrina was first recorded in 1579, 21 years after Mary's death. The pearl shown in Mary I's portrait is of the Tudor pearl, which is 53.57 grains larger than La Peregrina. In a book by Elizabeth Taylor, she speaks of a time where she had lost the pearl. She says she went into the bedroom, buried her face in a pillow and screamed before retracing her steps. She then saw her dog chomping on what looked like a bone, but they never gave their dog bones. Opening the dog's mouth, she saw the pearl inside, fortunately without a scratch on it. A fragment of one of the oldest known pearls jewellery found in a sarcophagus of a Persian princess who died in 520 BC is displayed in the Louvre in Paris. To the ancients, pearls were a symbol of the moon and had magical powers. The ancient Egyptians prized pearls so much they were buried with them. This, however, is thought to be the world's oldest pearl to date. The 8,000-year-old pearl was uncovered at an archaeological site on Marwa Island off of the coast of Abu Dhabi. According to the Emirate Department of Culture and Tourism, they then used radiocarbon dating to determine that it was formed between 5,800 BC and 5,600 BC, making it the oldest pearl ever to be discovered. Greek mythology proclaimed pearls to be tears of joy shed by the goddess Aphrodite. Aphrodite was the ancient Greek goddess associated with love, lust, beauty, pleasure, passion and procreation. The sea-born pearl was regarded as a stone of love and so sacred to the goddess Aphrodite. Ancient Egyptians associated pearls with Isis, the goddess of healing and life. Isis, the goddess of healing and magic, was crucial to ancient Egyptian religious beliefs. She is known today better by her Greek name Isis. However, the ancient Egyptians called her Aset. Her name translates to Queen of the Throne, which is reflected in her headdress, which is typically a throne. So how are pearls formed? The old myth about pearls being created from a grain of sand is just that, a myth. Sand and small pebbles are inorganic, and nacre cannot adhere to inorganic matter, so totally naturally occurring pearls probably form around things like snails and worms. Pearls can be made in the shells of many mollusks, but the most prized pearls can be found on the northwest coast of Australia, and some have been decades in their creation. Only a few mollusks, though, produce beautiful pearls, and most of the oysters we eat don't produce pearls. This is because they do not produce nacre. Like amber and coral, pearls are organic gems created by living things rather than geological processes. They are formed due to the reaction of a foreign body or irritant. The oyster neutralizes the foreign body by coating it with a gooey substance called nacre. Over time, the nacre builds up and hardens and forms a pearl. Nacre is made up of calcium carbonate and conchiolin, a protein substance. It is lightweight but tougher than concrete. Nacre is produced by the mantle tissue in the mollusk. It is also known as mother of pearl, and it is the substance that creates the rainbow lustre on the inside of shells. Nacre is a smooth crystalline substance. This calcium carbonate is made of aragonite platelets, biopolymers and proteins. When combined with conchiolin, the result is durable, lustrous substance. The conchiolin works like a glue that holds the crystals together. In the formation of pearls, the mollusk typically first deposits the conchiolin over the bead nucleus, which then holds the subsequent layers together. Pearls became more scarce and therefore more valuable around the end of the 19th century due to the overharvesting for food and pearls and increased pollution. The best way that people were likely to acquire a set of natural gems was to inherit them. Now the pearl market is almost entirely made up of cultured pearls, in fact only around 1% are natural. In the 19th century, oysters were plentiful and cheap and were sold on almost every street corner in London. Oysters were very popular with the lower class who used them as a substitute for expensive beef in stews and soups. On some of our mudlarking videos you may have seen lots of oyster shells, especially in bottle digs, mainly Victorian. Back then oysters were considered as poor man's food, whereas now they are seen as a delicacy. From here there is a whole new market for the introduction of cultured pearls. A cultured pearl is a pearl initiated by a mussel or oyster farmer under controlled conditions using two very different groups of bivalve mollusks, the freshwater river mussels and saltwater pearl oysters. Cultivating pearls is either done in freshwater mussels or saltwater Akoya oysters. The freshwater production mainly takes place in China and the saltwater in Japan. The process of pearl production, be that natural or cultivated, is generally the same. Oysters farmed for pearls are usually 2 to 3 years old before they are considered ready to be used for pearl cultivation. With saltwater pearls, balls of polished mother of pearl from the inside of a shell, known as the nuclei, is transplanted into the gonads of the oyster with a piece of donor mantle, which is around 2 mm square, from a donor oyster. These oysters tend to produce pearls of around 2.5 to 8 mm in diameter. Mother of pearl is used as a nucleus, as it is the same as nacre, which helps with strength. The core nuclei material must have similar thermal properties to the nacre to ensure it is strong enough through to the core. Freshwater cultivation does not require a nucleus to be implanted, just a piece of donor mantle. As these mussel shells are much bigger, they are able to produce bigger and a larger quantity of pearls in the same shell, usually up to 30 each time. However, the less there are, the better quality they are. The function of the mantle is to protect the mollusk's internal organs. The organic matter, be that natural or cultivated nucleus, is seen as a threat to the mantle, and it excretes nacre to protect the mollusk. One sacrificed oyster can produce enough mantle tissue for around 50 implantations. A piece of mantle tissue is implanted into the gonad followed by a nucleus, and it can be harvested in as little as 6 to 12 months. It takes the oyster around 6 weeks to recover from the shock of the surgery, and sadly some don't survive it. When an oyster is considered ready for the pearl to be harvested, they put it out in the sun for around 30 minutes and their shells start to naturally open. A wedge is then placed between the two halves of the shell to keep them open and extract the pearl. It is a delicate operation because if the shell is forced open it can kill the oyster. Each oyster can undergo up to 5 rounds of cultivation. After this, most are killed and the flesh recycled into such things as fish food. This actually made me feel quite sad. Oysters and mussels are cultured in farms just like in these pictures. Naturally produced pearls tend to have microscopic pores showing concentrated growth rings, whereas cultivated pearls have a bigger nucleus, and these are only visible under X-ray. Pearls come in many different shapes, sizes and colours. In nature it is very rare to find a perfectly round pearl, and these are rare gems that command very high prices. The Akoya oysters produce quite round pearls, but this is due to the nucleus being implanted in them, whereas freshwater pearls are more irregular in shape. Sometimes though the nucleus is rejected, but yet a pearl can still be found. These are known as keshi pearls. Small non-nucleated pearls typically form as byproducts of the pearl cultivation. A Japanese word also meaning poppy, it is used in Japanese for all pearls that grew without a nucleus. Originally, keshi pearls referred to those pearls formed when the bead nucleus was rejected. More recently, keshi has been used to refer to second harvest pearls and even to freshwater non-nucleated pearls. However, the later usage referring to freshwater pearls is considered erroneous by many leading gem trade associations because they have no nucleus. Keshi pearls are composed entirely of nacre. Baroque pearls are pearls with irregular non-spherical shape. The shape can vary vastly. Most freshwater pearls are baroque because the freshwater pearls are mantle tissue nucleated instead of bead nucleated, although cultured sea pearls can be baroque too, but tend to be more tear-shaped due to the use of the spherical nucleation bead. The most valuable baroque pearls are those found in the South Sea and the Tahitian pearls, which are produced by black-lipped oysters and gold-lipped and white-lipped oysters. Although these are cultured pearls, the nacre is left to build up over a longer period and therefore enhances the chance and likelihood of producing a baroque pearl. There are in fact 7 primary shapes: round, semi-round, drop, baroque and circle baroque, button and semi-baroque. Pearls come in many colours and are dependent upon the oyster. The most common colour for pearls is white, cream or grey, but they also come in colours such as purple, black, pink, green, champagne, chocolate, blue or lavender. Some pearls exhibit stunning overtones that exhibit multicolours. Naturally coloured blue pearls are one of the rarest of them all. Freshwater pearls can be dyed, but they have to be sold stating this, and they can have chemicals added to them which can enhance the lustre. Saltwater pearls naturally have a much higher sheen. Freshwater pearls are considerably cheaper than saltwater pearls. So now we've learnt a little bit about pearls, I have an oyster that is sadly deceased, however contains a pearl. These are readily available on the internet and I didn't know that until I started researching pearls. So I've bought this one for the purpose of this vlog and will of course use the pearl that comes in it and also enhance the natural beauty of the shell to display the final piece in. But I won't be eating the oyster, not even if it was fresh.